Lexus is obviously synonymous with luxury, and in the compact crossover realm, the NX is a testament to that legacy. Initially introduced in 2014, this sophisticated model had a makeover in 2021, and now in 2024 has a few new options and bits to go through. While largely a carryover, this year's iteration brings subtle yet impactful enhancements, especially in the realm of interior aesthetics. And we'll dive all into the interior and exterior and what powers this right here. But we're gonna start off this review talking about the landscape of the NX itself. All right, so there are 4 different options when it comes to picking an NX. You start off with the gas engine NX, which is basically your base option. You have an NX F Sport, which is a obviously more sporty version of that gas powered vehicle. Then you have the NX Hybrid, which is what we have here, and an NX plug-in hybrid, which sits above this. We're gonna be focusing this video on the hybrid, which is denoted by the 350H badge. But if you're looking at the plug-in hybrid, that's a 450H. The gas is the 300, and obviously the F Sport has the F Sport moniker. So let's start this review talking about the exterior here, starting with the color. The paint color is called Redline. It is a bright, racy looking red. I quite like it on this vehicle. I'm not usually a big fan of red vehicles, but with all the black cladding and chrome black accents around the vehicle, I think it looks really good. You have the obviously huge bow tie grille with the waterfall pattern in there and the Lexus symbol towards the top middle of the grille. You've got 3 extra little air vents down there. You have that really stylized hood and front fascia. Again, all of this styling is mostly just carryover from the 2021 redesign. You have the side slits there with the fog lights integrated, and then you have those Lexus signature triple LED headlights that look really good. It makes it super obvious that this is a Lexus coming behind you at night. Along the side, we do have 20-inch alloy wheels that look really good on this model. We have power folding, body colored side mirrors with integrated turn signals. You have keyless entry with the door handles able to lock and unlock the vehicle without pulling the key out of your pocket. The cladding along the side of the vehicle is actually much smaller than a lot of the competition in this space, definitely giving it a more luxury feel over a rugged feel. But adding to the rugged feel is the roof rack with the crossbars. I really think crossovers with these crossbars on the roof rack make them look extra rugged, like they're ready to do something. So I appreciate that here. You've got full chrome trimming around the cabin of the vehicle. Obviously nice sharp lines going down the side. Again, that kind of signature Lexus look. Along the back is your LED taillights, and you've got a continuous taillight across the entire rear. You have the Lexus nameplate there on the back hatch, as well as the NX 350H badge with all-wheel drive badge on the passenger side of the hatch. Looking towards the bottom of the rear fascia, there are no visible exhaust ports as this is a hybrid vehicle. Obviously you do have a tailpipe, but it's not a vehicle that Lexus is showing off for its exhaust. And before we open up that hatch, let's quickly talk about the size of this thing. Your total length is 183.5 inches. You have a wheelbase of 105.9 inches. A total width of 73.4 inches and height of 65.4 inches. And while I didn't actually find the stat for the ground clearance, it has a decent ground clearance. Definitely can get in and out of the driveway easily. The all-wheel drive system is decent enough that you can take it on a kind of off-road trail, but we'll talk more about that all-wheel drive system as we drive it. First, let's go ahead and pop the hatch. And popping the hatch, you can pop it from a button on the key. There is a button back here that you can grab, or you can do the hands-free pop with just a kick underneath with the key in your pocket, obviously. And it is a power lifting hatch, which is always great. And you definitely have a ton of cargo space back here. You're looking at a cargo volume of 22.7 cubic feet behind that second row. You can fold it down and get a total of 46.9 cubic feet in the entire cargo area. And again, for a compact crossover, that's pretty good. It's not the best that you can get out there if you're looking for the maximum cargo volume, but it's really good. Plenty for our camera gear for this video, plenty for grocery shopping that we did during the week. You could easily fit golf clubs back here or suitcases back here. You do have a cover here for the cargo area as well. And there is a little bag here with a cargo net that can cross through, which is also handy if you do put groceries in here and you park on a slope and open this thing. Your stuff's not going to roll out because it hits this little cargo net cover. But with that, let's go ahead and close it up, pop the hood, check out what powers the 350h. All right, and under the hood should be no surprise. It's also a carryover from many years, but it's a tested, tried, and true engine from Lexus and Toyota. This is the 2.5 liter hybrid engine. Your total combined horsepower is 240 horsepower, 184 pound-feet of torque, which are pretty good numbers for this compact crossover. It is matched to a CVT, which definitely isn't my favorite transmission, but not terrible in here. We'll talk more about that obviously as we take it for a drive. And again, this does have Lexus's all-wheel drive system, front-wheel drive bias, but it can go 50-50. And all in all, not super impressive, but a nice setup. I think it's time to go ahead and jump inside, start taking a look at the interior. We'll start with the rear seats, then the driver's seat, then we'll take it for a drive, and we'll start wrapping it up after that. Let's keep going. All right, we're here in the back seats, and first thing to notice is it's quite comfortable, quite large for a compact crossover. It's obviously a luxury compact crossover, which means we do have a lot of nice materials back here as well as up in the front. But you can see I have plenty of knee room, plenty of foot room down here. I have just enough headroom. Of course, we do have a sunroof that slides back here, but there is a nice slope, so I don't feel constricted at all. You do have a pull-down armrest with cup holders. You do have your own AC and heat vents, as well as heated seats back here. You've got 2 USB charging ports and an accessory charger. So being in the rear seat, even as an adult, and I'm 6'1", bigger guy, fit fine, no problem. Kids, we've had back here 3 wide. We've done shopping trips with the kids in here, some holiday stuff as we're filming this around the holidays with the kids in here. No complaints. With that, let's go ahead and move into the front seat, the driver's seat, and check out the rest of the interior. All right, guys, here in the driver's seat, first thing to talk about is just the interior trim. It is Palomino leather, and we have Black Open-Pore Wood trimming. I definitely like this brownish with black interior combination. Looks super good, super luxurious, as you might expect from a Lexus. But let me give you a more detailed look around. All right, before we kick it on, I start showing you the rest of the interior. Let's talk about the one kind of quirk or inconvenience that the kids and the family had with this vehicle, and that's the door handles for getting in and out of this vehicle. Not so much the exterior door handles, but the interior. So you can see here we don't have a traditional door handle. It's just a little strip right here, and you push it in and it opens the door, but you can't push it. You got to really push it in and push at the same time, and opens it up. You can pull it, and it says pull it twice, and that unlocks it. But really all you have to do is just put your hand here, push it with your thumb, and push open the door. No problems. It took the family much longer to figure that out than me. I saw them constantly pulling it out this way, and in that case you have to pull it twice. Definitely not a deal breaker or anything like that. Just something you have to learn and know when you get this vehicle, which I think is always pretty fun. Seeing people for the first time jumping in a vehicle and struggling to get out of it. Anyways, let's go ahead and kick it on. It is push button start. I do like the position of the power button here. It's way up at the top. Sometimes they're down here. You really have to like turn, reach, and make sure you're pushing the button. But here, I kind of usually just grab the back of this and just push with my thumb. I don't know why, but that seems just like a really good position for me. You can hear all the chimes, the Lexus startup menus, and you can already see that large 14-inch display. Now the standard NX comes with a 9.8-inch display, but this one has the luxury trimming on top of it, which comes with the 14-inch display, and this is a really large, really nice display. And it does a trick where behind these knobs here is still part of the display, but is colored differently. And this infotainment interface is pretty new to Lexus. It's definitely the first time I've used it in a Lexus vehicle. Pretty sure it launched in the NX whenever it refreshed in 2021. That being said, I do want to pick on it. My biggest complaint is that it's such a large screen but still feels very cluttered. I don't know how well you get that from the camera view, but this little menu here can't be pulled down. All of this is very cluttered up here. These buttons pop up, extra menu controls here, and then on this side pulls up extra climate stuff. You have your climate control buttons here, and then more climate control here. And then you have your radio features, what you're looking at on this side, and clicking on something over here populates over there. But then you have these two buttons here, the source and the search, which pull up new menus, which is nice enough, but they're like overlaid in this scroll. So it's like they didn't have room for them anywhere else. It does have a talk feature, obviously, so you can say, hey, Lexus, turn on the radio.
Turning on the radio.
And that works just fine. Navigation is nice and big. Again, if you could get rid of this extra climate section down here, it would be even nicer and less cluttered feeling. It is nice to have these buttons at quick access, but honestly, you're not really accessing them that much, and they could easily be moved down. And of course, having large touch areas as a driver is nice also, but again, it just feels super cluttered for being such a large screen. They definitely didn't take advantage of the large screen. It seems like they just sized up what they already had for the smaller screen. And to me, it just seems pretty cluttered. That being said, everything works fine, super easy to use. You do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is nice. Also Amazon Music integrations. And no, I don't know who James is. But let's keep it moving along. You do have air vents here. You have a button over here for your parking sensors, a button to pull up your 360 camera, which is super nice. You can also put it into reverse and get that backup camera and 360 camera. Down a little bit further is your drive mode select. So you got a sport mode, you've got an eco mode. You just push it in for normal drive mode. Down here you got a little cubby for whatever you need. USB Type-C, USB Type-A charging ports. Also both of them interface with the Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. This little shelf here is for a wireless charger, so you can throw your phone down and it'll start wirelessly charging. That said, if you don't have a grippy case, this thing does slide around and will just stop charging, which kind of sucks. You can push that back and you've got a whole nother cubby here, big enough for decent amount of things. Moving further back is two cup holders, your tiny gear shifter, which can be pushed over and up for reverse. Again, shows the reverse camera. Over and back is drive. If you hold it over, it'll put it into neutral. And then you push the button here for park. Back behind that is an auto hold button, traction control off, an easy button for kind of an off-road mode, quick button for EV mode. This is a hybrid. It's not a plug-in hybrid, so the EV mode doesn't get you very far. You have an electronic parking brake here. Center console, material nice and squishy. Buttons on this side, opens it up. Plenty of room down in that cubby. Moving over to the steering wheel, nice thick steering wheel, nice leather. You got nice controls on here. It's easy to see the white and black contrast, which is not always the case in vehicles. You do have paddle shifters attached to the steering wheel. We also do have a head-up display, which I really like. You get a lot of information, but the main thing that you get is as you're using the buttons down here and moving your finger across it, that is reflected in the head-up display. So you can see a image of the button layout, and it's highlighted the exact button that your finger's on even before you push in, and it will tell you what that button does. Really good, and it works with both sides, obviously. Super nice. I like it, especially for the cruise control feature and just kind of knowing what you're doing without having to look down at the steering wheel. Haven't seen that in any other vehicle. Really like it. All right, let's look now at the instrument cluster. You do have a full LCD display here. You get a lot of nice info as you change drive modes. It does change its look. Then you just get the basic features that any kind of driver information display gives you. Also, you can see we do have a nice Mark Levinson sound system. Does sound really good, very bassy, especially with the kids' music. But with that, I think that's a good walk around of the interior and the tech. If there's any other questions, let me know down in the comments, and I'll try to answer them after the fact if I can. If not, maybe another Lexus expert will see your comments and answer it for you. But right now, I think it's time to get this thing out on the road, check how it drives, check some of that sportiness, and go from there. So let's first start off by talking about the comfort in driving the NX. And again, this is the NX 350H, the hybrid version. So we have a hybrid powertrain. All in all, it's super smooth, super comfortable. I really like these seats. They are comfortable, they're heated, they're cooled seats. Heated steering wheel. This nice big 14-inch screen is easy to touch, easy to see what's going on. Again, it can feel a bit cramped as you're looking for the option that you're looking for, but whenever you find it, it is easy to touch. The interior overall looks really nice, very luxurious. I really like the head-up display, again, especially where it shows you what you're touching on the steering wheel. It shows you the speed. It shows you if you're going over the speed, or at least the speed it thinks the road is. It's not always right. Actually, most of the time it's been wrong. But that's a data issue, not really a car issue. Driving position is really good. One thing that I didn't do the entire week was play with the paddle shifters and the sport mode. It's a hybrid luxury compact crossover, not a sports car. Don't really care too much about those as long as the power is good when I put my foot down, and basically never want to shift gears by myself. I know there are situations where you might want to, and that's fine. But if you're doing it because you think this thing is a sports car, it's not. That doesn't mean we're not going to test out some sportiness, maybe a quick acceleration test, but that's going to be in just a minute. First, let's talk about the economy out of this vehicle. So this is a hybrid, obviously. It's going to be more fuel efficient. That's entirely the point of getting this model right here. So your EPA rating is 41 miles per gallon city, 37 miles per gallon highway, with a combined of 39 miles per gallon. As you've probably seen, as we're showing off some of the screens in here, we're averaging about 33.2 miles per gallon for our full week. And that's not hypermiling it. That's leaving it in normal mode pretty much 90% of the time. That's doing a little bit of highway miles, but mostly city miles. Although I have driven this quite a bit this week. We've done a lot of stuff with the family back and forth. It is around the holidays, so we're getting shopping done and parties and things like that. So that's really great. And I haven't had to put gas in it the entire week. And I'm still at half a tank, which is really good. Usually by the time I'm filming my review, which is at the end of my week of having the vehicle, I'm usually around a quarter of a tank or less having to put gas in there. But this thing still at half a tank, and I've probably done more driving with this than I normally do on just an average basis. Lexus also gives you decent safety features in the NX. This has Lexus's Safety System 3.0 Plus, which is just their latest and greatest version of their safety system. And that gives you the 360 camera, the radars around the vehicle. We have radar guided cruise control, which is really great. We have a lane sensing system, but not really a lane keeping system, which is, I think, one big area where this is a little bit let down. It's nice to have that lane departure alert where it tells you if you're getting out of the lane, but it's really nice to have the keeping system where it will actually keep you in between the lanes. It's not a self-driving system, but a lot of the vehicles, even less expensive vehicles, do the keeping system very well. and I would like to see it here in this vehicle. But overall, it is still a really good safety suite of features. Another cool feature that's not super unique, definitely not unique to Lexus or the NX, is the rear view mirror. So you get the rear view mirror, you can also flip it back and see from the rear view camera's perspective. Definitely helpful in larger SUVs where you could have a lot of stuff piled in, or it's big and it's hard to see around. This thing isn't that hard to see around, but I still like having these available, although most of the week I just drove it with the regular rear view mirror. And if you want a test of just how vain of a person you are, drive with the rear view camera on and see how many times you look at it trying to see your reflection. Driving and handling is pretty good in here. We're gonna hit some twisty back roads here in just a bit, but the suspension might be a little more tight than you might expect from a Lexus. It's a bit bouncy. The kids did mention that once as well, so it is noticeably more kind of bouncy than you would probably expect from a Lexus, but that does make the handling a little bit better for tighter turns, things like that. So let's go ahead and put this thing on a back road. We'll put it into sport mode, feel those turns, feel that acceleration, and see what we think there. All right, so there's not many back windy country roads left out here that aren't full of houses, but there is one, and that's what we're headed to right now. So we're gonna put it into sport mode. We're gonna keep it in normal shift. I'm not gonna use the paddle shifters, so it's just that CVT working itself. And we're gonna see how it feels, how flat it stays, the acceleration out of the turns, and just some overall thoughts. All right, but let's push it. Going around the corner, there's a little bit of body roll, but it's pretty flat. Good acceleration. Brakes, really good. Nice grip, nice acceleration out of the turn. And again, stays pretty quick, pretty flat. Suspension is tight, so you're feeling these bumps. You know what's going on underneath this thing. Steering is very direct. Definitely stiffer than in normal drive mode, which is great. So yeah, again, this isn't a sports car, but real world use cases. If you're needing to go quickly around a corner, this thing's gonna grip well with the all-wheel drive. You're gonna be able to accelerate to, if you're trying to pass somebody quickly, which there are use cases for that, obviously. Definitely don't condone driving like a maniac. There's plenty of people out there that do that. You don't need to be one of them. Now, Lexus says the 0 to 60 time on this is 7.2 seconds. Let's go ahead and test that out as well. Again, it is a hybrid system. It does have a CVT transmission. We're gonna leave it in completely auto shifting, but we are in sport mode. And we'll go over here to this straight back road where there are no houses or anything. Plenty of those around, and we'll really put that to the test. All right, we're coming up on our back country road. Super isolated. Let's do a quick 0 to 60. Dead stop, sport mode. Ready, set, go. A little bit of a slip, kind of laggy at the beginning. 50, 60. Not terrible, didn't quite feel 7.2 seconds. We'll have to see what it is in the edit, but there you go. All right, well, with that, you might be wondering what kind of price you gotta pay to get something like this. That's what we're gonna get into right now. The price, some of the competition, then I'll give you some of my final thoughts on this thing. Let's just get into it. All right, after that, let's quickly talk about the price. Starting with the base NX 250 that starts at $40,600, so just over $40,000, which is a decent price for what you're getting. If you're looking at a non-luxury compact crossover, those really top out usually around $42,000 to $45,000. So a base luxury starting at $40,000 is pretty good. Of course, but what we're in here, the hybrid model, The 350H is closer to one of the top of the line trims. This also has the luxury package on top of it that gets us the big screen, nice seats, head-up display, Mark Levinson sound system. All of that has a base price of $44,615. This one has a few options on top of that, plus a destination charge, which brings our full MSRP to $58,445. So almost 60 grand for a compact luxury crossover. Not terrible. It's a lot of money though. It competes with things like the Audi Q3, the BMW X1, the Mercedes GLA, all really fantastic vehicles, but for the price, I really do like this thing here. And again, if you want to compare it to something kind of non-luxury, it's based on the same platform as the RAV4 that has the RAV4 Hybrid and RAV4 Prime, which is their plug-in hybrid. So if you want all the goodness of this without all the luxury, you might consider that Toyota. But let me go ahead and jump out. I'll give you some of my final thoughts and we'll wrap up the video there. All right, guys, and with that, some of my final thoughts here are, I really like this thing. I like it probably more than I thought I would. I like the size, I like the color, I like the design, even though the Lexus design is getting a bit old. I've talked about that with some of my other Lexus reviews recently. I am excited to drive the new TX and the new RX. I've actually driven the RX, but I haven't put out a video on it. So hopefully that'll happen at some point soon. But I quite like this one. Again, I like the size of it, the roof rack, the interior. My biggest complaints are the infotainment interface and the brakes, but once you get kind of over that, really fantastic car. Would definitely recommend, would definitely put my own money down on one. So if you're cross shopping, definitely worth at least a test drive, if not your actual buy-in. With that, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the thumbs up button. Really appreciate it if you did. If you really liked the video, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think about the NX, especially this hybrid version. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. We do a different review every week. So if you're into automotive reviews, it's worth a subscribe. Also check out txgarage.com for more written reviews as well as event news coverage over there from a lot of great authors, not just myself. But with that, time for me to check out. Thanks for watching.